Hello, everybody. Welcome to Late Night Football. Welcome to our reaction show. Not really a match reaction show because I'm not reacting to the game itself, but Brighton's 3-0 win over Arsenal kind of confirmed what we all already knew, that Arsenal were not going to win the Premier League title challenge. I don't think, this was any shock. I think Brighton just kind of sped up the inevitable because we all thought maybe it might go for another week or two. But the fact is that Brighton's win today means that as long as City beat Chelsea, they will win the title. Even if they don't, they're 4 points clear with Arsenal have 2 games left. So at the moment, they're about 3 points away from the title. That's really what it is. So they need 3 points in the next 3 games. 3 draws will even do it for Chelsea, but we know they're going to win. They're good for City, sorry, but we know they're going to beat Chelsea, and then again they're going to get the job done because that's what Manchester City do. But I'll talk about Manchester City at some other point when they win the title. This really is about Arsenal and about them, losing the title, not losing, but not coming up short in the title challenge race. I mean, the reality is, at the end of the day, Arsenal didn't lose the title today. For anybody who's going out there, they bottled the title. They didn't bottle the title today. They bottled it with those 3 draws that they had against Liverpool, West Ham, and Southampton. Had they won those 3, and quite frankly, they should have won all 3. But the fact that they didn't win all, they drew those 3. You drop 6 points like that. You're always asking for trouble. As I said it a long time, I said it, before the City game or after the City game, I said Arsenal had done very well to get themselves in a position where you can afford to lose 2 games to Manchester City and still win the title. That really is what you have to do. Is at the end of the day, you've got to put yourself in a position where you don't have to beat Manchester City, and then you go and win the title. And that was the thing. Arsenal put themselves in that position, and yet then they took 2-0 lead to Liverpool. They bottled that and drew that. And for me, I think that is where kind of the dynamic shifted. Even if whatever happened against West Ham and Southampton, it shouldn't happen. It shouldn't have happened. But the moment they drew with Liverpool, that was the end of that, because then City were going to capitalize and they were going to take over. So from Arsenal's point of view, that was the issue. What I will say in defense of Arsenal is the fact that I thought Manchester City were going to walk the league, and in many ways they are going to walk the league, because the fact is they don't, they have 3 games and they've win all 3 of those. They're looking at 9 points. Assuming Arsenal win their next 2 games, they're still going to be, they're still going to be 7 points behind. So at the moment, that's where it is. Maybe City might rest some players before the finals. From City's point of view, that'll be good. But anyway, we'll talk. I keep coming to City, but really it's about Arsenal. But the fact is that if Arsenal hadn't put up the fight that they did, City would have just walked the lead. Because think about all the other challenges. Liverpool have fallen away. Chelsea have fallen away. Manchester United were never in contention ever. Newcastle United kind of were never really in contention either. I mean, so the fact is that, a lot of people, I mean, if you're a Premier League fan, you should be happy that Arsenal were in the race for so long, for as long as they were, because otherwise this was just going to be a procession. And then the reality is that to compete with City, Arsenal never had the squad depth that they needed. And that is what we keep coming back to: squad depth, squad depth, squad depth. You need that. You need to have squad depth in order to challenge for the title, because Arsenal's first 11 anyway were not better than City, but they were getting the job done against other teams. The problem is, once you start losing 1, 2, 3, 4 players, which will happen in any season, it happens. Do you have backups that can come in and do a job? Do you have backups who can make you go, right, I don't miss this player because this person is doing adequately well enough, for and not just for 1 game. Sometimes it could just be 1 game, but sometimes it could be 5, 6 games. So all of those factors were there, and Arsenal really needed a lot of luck. They needed a lot of luck, and a lot of things went their way in the first half of the season. Then once the new year started, things started to turn. And it was possible that maybe some teams saw Arsenal as well. They're not title challengers, so maybe we should look to get 3 points on them, and they maybe played into Arsenal's hands. But once you see a team as title challengers, this team is a top 2 team, top 4 team. Getting a draw against them is a good thing. So then you start seeing teams play differently. And how do you adapt to that? How do you adapt to those tactics? I don't think Arteta could do it. And I'll talk about Arteta in this case. I think Arteta is too much Pep light. And he has been too much Pep light this season. And he's got to change that. That's what's got to change for next season. If Arsenal are going to challenge for the title again next season, and I'll be honest here and say I don't see them challenging for the title next season. I think it will be Liverpool who will challenge next season. I don't think it'll be Arsenal. I think at the moment what is happening is because teams don't have the squad depth, a lot of them are going to push themselves 1 season and then they'll suffer the effects next season. And I think next season Liverpool will come back because the squad will have had this 1 year off sort of to recharge. They'll be fresh, they'll be fit, there'll be a couple of reinforcements that will come in, and then Liverpool will, because Klopp's tactics are pretty good, and so he'll challenge for the title instead of and push City. They won't win it because City are just too good. But I think Arsenal, unless they can really bring in the quality reinforcements that they need, which is going to be tough because Arsenal don't spend a lot of money, or don't like to spend a lot of money on big players, they'll probably drop off. But even beyond the players, what they will need is tactics. And I think Arteta has been too Pep light. this season to be able to challenge, because it's all been good because Pep Guardiola has advanced his tactics as well, and Arteta is kind of stuck in the same sort of previous mold, and that's where results like these happen, because teams kind of figure you out, and then what do you do to change it, right? So I think Arteta is going to have to evolve and advance his tactics. Can he do it? That's going to be the big question, I think, for next season. Can he be able to do it? But in terms of players, they're gonna have to take a call. I think is Kieran Tierney someone they need to keep around? Do they want to get somebody else, get a better left back in possibly? Do they need to look at do they need to get a better a better striking options than Eddie and Nketiah? I mean, that was a problem. If Trossard is going to be one of his striking options, then you need to look at getting another winger in, because you can't have one striker, one player, being backup for two positions, because at some point he's going to have to play, then who's going to play in the other position? So they're going to have to get one more forward in, whether they decide Trossard is a winger and get a striker in, or whether they think Trossard is a striker backup and get a winger in. They're going to have to look at one of those positions to be filled. And this is about fleshing out the squad. They'll need to flesh out the squad, because without that, it's not going to work. They need to look at the right back, centre back position as well. I mean, Saliba going down immediately killed off the team, so they need another centre back who can compete. Be sort of a good backup, and then probably on the right back as well, because I don't think Ben White at right back cuts it. He plays there because they don't have a choice, but because they need to get him in the team, and maybe he is, but again, you need competition for him. I don't think Tomiyasu is that guy, so they have to have their squad needs a little bit of reinforcements. Keep in mind as well, there's going to be Champions League football next season for them, and they're going to have to look at that. So there are things there for them next season to build on. But what I will say about this season, I think it's I still think it's a good achievement finishing second. I wouldn't say phenomenal, but it's a good achievement finishing second, because for Arsenal, the top goal was top 4. I didn't have Arsenal in my top 4 predictions. I feel like I had them finishing 5th, because I thought maybe this season is just a bit too soon. I liked what they were doing in pre-season. I just thought maybe over the course of a long season, they will fall short. They did fall short, but they fell short of the title, not of top 4. But they've got top 4. So next season now will be, will be about consolidation, will be about getting, the right players in. The fact is that I had them finishing 5th, but they finished 2nd. So they've done exceptionally well in my eyes. They've done really well, and that deserves a lot of praise and a lot of credit. It's sad that they lost it in the way that they lost it. It's always tough when it's okay when you come, when you lose in certain ways, but then there's ways that you lose and you're disappointed. And I always will say this, I feel when you get yourself in a position where you don't need to pick up points against Manchester City to win a title, and you drop 6 points like the way that they did, it's just bad. It just leaves a bad taste in the mouth, doesn't it? Even as a rival fan, it does, and I'm sure for many Arsenal fans it definitely will. But changes are needed, and that's part of it. And for now, I think Arsenal, this will hurt, and it should hurt, but hopefully some perspective will be there eventually that yes, they did well enough to finish 2nd. They could have got more, they probably should have got more, but the fact is that to be where they are is in itself an achievement, and that needs to be recognized as well. But like I said, this game has only sped up the inevitable. It hasn't really told us something new. Like, if you once Arsenal lost to Manchester City, it was over. Some would say even further back, but the fact is that once they lost to Manchester City, there was no coming back. There was no coming back from that. So the reality is that they were always gonna lose and gonna lose out once that happened. So it just confirmed it. But there's things to build on. Lessons to be learned. Can Arteta, and then the question for next season will be: will the squad be beefed up for them to keep hold of this position to be able to move forward? Because that's one of the biggest challenges, isn't it? Do you move forward? Do you start rebuilding and looking at the pieces that need to be upgraded, or do you get complacent and comfortable and think, well, we were 2nd last year, so this team is pretty good enough. We don't need a lot of players. That kind of thinking. And then with the manager as well, does he advance his tactics? Does he realize what went wrong and work on it and fix it? Or does he get complacent and go, well, it was just bad luck, just bad fortune or whatever, and we just need to be a little bit more not doing too much. So those are things that will need to be answered, but we'll see what happens with that. Anyway, commiserations to all Arsenal fans. At the end of the day, it's sad, and I really wanted Arsenal to win the league title this season. Once they started getting points, I really wanted them to, because I didn't want City to win the league title, and that's important. But the fact is that it was always a bit of a wish. And going through my old videos, I don't think I've ever mentioned Arsenal definitely winning the league title, even when they had those big wins. I never said that. I think it was always, it's a good chance, because everything, you knew that at one point City were going to click, and then those points cushions were going to be important for Arsenal. It was important for them to build a really strong points cushion, and they couldn't. And when they did, they gave it up very, very quickly. So that is where it is. But but that's how it goes, right? They're coming up against a juggernaut, and it's hard to break that juggernaut down at the moment, because nobody really seems to be financially or sportingly capable to do it. But anyway, that's a question and a topic for another day. Do share your thoughts, of course, on Arsenal's title challenge. What did you think about that? What are you feeling as an Arsenal fan, as a rival fan? I know there'll be a lot of trolling. I know there'll be a lot of, and some of that trolling is justified, because some of the fans have been going a little bit overboard, maybe a little bit arrogant. But then, there are other fans who've been pretty, level-headed about it. So, but, let me know what you think, of course. And do smash a like for Arsenal's second place. I mean, it's not a bad thing to finish second, so smash a like for that, and smash a like for Arsenal's fight that they've shown, not today, but probably across the season. They have shown a lot of fight. They're the closest that any team has come this season to beating to usurping Manchester City's title reign. So that deserves a little bit of credit as well. Anyway, subscribe to our channel on YouTube, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and we appreciate your support, of course. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you again soon. Bye bye.